Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2 today for a Wind Waker rando tournament, or bi-weekly tournament settings race. We're still testing out some new things for potential S5. Joined on comms today by Tuba Man for this race between Alex and Tanjo. Tuba, how's it going? Tuba? He's here. He's hiding.
Hello.
Let's say someone here knows what the hell we're playing today, and it's not me, so I need you.
Yeah, so I apologize. I was actually my internet actually kind of dipped for a second, so you just became a robot, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna miss my cue, aren't I?
Fair enough. It happens. I will hand it to you. We will get this race going.
Sounds good. All right, so exciting things happening today. We've got Tanjo 3 and OFC 2000 Alex. I will shorten that down to Alex throughout the race. We're testing a couple things for the upcoming Season 5 tournament. Specifically, chess type matches contents and path hints. Both things that you probably might recognize if you watched any Ocarina of Time Randomizer Season 5. The big things about both is that they help kind of speed up settings and allow us to add more without bloating times of seeds, which is a blessing whenever a lot of Wind Waker Randomizer can just be dead time sailing between islands or doing mundane tasks trying to get to the chests. So it helps to kind of speed up the pacing, make things a little more lively, and add just another element to the racing besides just trying to execute well. The path hints, which we'll see a little bit more of as we get started here, help point at specific items that are needed to go beat different bosses. For example, if we get like a Great Sea path to Goma, we know that something needed to get to Goma will be on one of the Great Sea locations. Hi, Alex. It is nice to see you too. Thank you for your hi chat. So the path hints, as opposed to just any typical way of the hero, is nice in the fact that we're not just going to get a way of the hero for one of our shards or for one of our swords, because those are items that can kind of just appear anywhere, kind of like ice rods. And if they end up eating a hint slot, that can tend to feel a little bad. Now, both of these settings are experimental at the moment. They are not in the official randomizer branch yet, but they are things that we are testing to get PR'd. So far, CTMC has been pulled into the main branch and is planned to be in the main randomizer whenever the next one comes out. Hints are still being tested for bugs, so this is still very experimental, and we could see some things not intended today, although for the most part, things are stable and good enough to be put onto a restream that we have seen so far. However, things can always go wrong, Murphy's Law and all that, so be keeping your eye out for anything that might be like not quite correct. That's why we test. Other than that, the settings that we will be using are pretty standard. We'll have 4 dungeon race mode. The one thing that's a little not standard is we're going to be playing with the lookout platforms. We often don't play with these enabled because there are a lot of them and they can be a little slow, but we're just kind of testing the waters to see what we think of them, especially testing them with chest size matches contents. So we should be starting up very soon. Good luck to our runners. Hopefully we get a very good race today. And we are off. That is a lot of water close by. We are at the Tower of the Gods quadrant today. Okay, Star Belt leads to Cali Demos. DRC to Jahala. Islet of Steel to Mulgera. Ooh, that islet hint is interesting. Paw Print to Goma. Also very interesting. And then we got some foolish hints. No Private Oasis today. Always nice to see. Six Eye Reef. So that is one check off. Eastern Fairy, another one checker. Great Fish, just another one off. And then this is an always hint here. Ganon's Tower. It is nothing today. Bomb Island Cave. Nothing. Seven Armos has a small key today. Good to note. DRC Big Key Chest. Ooh, Master Sword from Maggie. Okay, so we've got ourselves a DRC small key in the Big Key Chest. That is always good to know. Ankle is dead. That is a hint you always love to see or hate to see. And this is why you love to see it. Because there is a Tingle statue in the back of Jaboon that we now know we don't need to collect. Forbidden Woods Tree Trunk is dead. Perfect, perfect. So Alex is probably going to be writing down some more hints to keep track of. Yep, and should be probably following in Tanjo's footprints. Maybe checking mother and child first. Yep. Meanwhile, Tanjo with the dancing top man. So, looking on Alex's side here, we have a spiky chest right by... oh, interesting. Alex is opting to store this chest. So, the chest type matches contents will be as followed. If a chest has nothing, it will just be a brown wooden chest. If it has a key, we have recolored the iron chest to not look so similar. Oh, that's unfortunate for Alex. Have to mash through all of the text to get out of this. But then if it has some kind of progression, it will be this beautiful chest that we see in front of us. Iron boots from Tingle, very good. Where it's this beautiful burgundy and gold with spikes on the top of it. And we got Nehru Pearl as well. Tower of the Gods is not one of our dungeons today. Same with FF, so we do not need that pearl. That is just indeed bait. We're going to see Tanjo do a cool strat here to saddle behind the door here to peek this chest. It is wooden. We do not need it today. And that skips us having to do like a 30-second go through the maze. There we go. Alex finally getting that storage to store that chest. I'm interested to see where he goes with this. And we've got Tanjo checking the hints now. Going through them a lot faster. Wonder if he has some kind of thing that he can just click a couple things as opposed to typing. So Alex voiding out on this raft here. Gonna check to see what he stored, probably. Okay, maybe. I'm gonna assume he's gonna sail straight up to Star, maybe? Yep, so it looks like he's gonna make his way to the Star Island platform from here. An interesting strat, for sure. And we have Tanjo done with Windfall. Didn't have a ton for us today, just the Iron Boots. But we are going to see the paw print, which could be interesting. Oh, wow, it's getting a little destroyed by that explosive barrel. Always have to be careful in the Star Island and anything neighboring. Oh yeah, Maggie did have a Master Sword, correct. But same with the Iron Boots, not a lot of great impact immediately. We also get a wallet here. But Paw Print could be interesting because it is path to Goma. Ooh, we've got a spike chest on Star for a shield. Okay. We do need at least one of those to beat the seed, and we do have Earth Temple today. So, both shields are going to be really nice to have for Earth Temple. So that is a nice find. We see a progressive quiver being held by Beetle, and the bait bag. Okay, very nice. That opens a couple early things, although a lot of them you would like to cheese by using other items to make it quicker. It is still a nice item to have. Now let's see what we find in our paw print while Alex is going to catch up to what Tanjo has already done. Intermediate spiky chest on the Sphere Zero chest, and we get Din's Pearl. That is absolutely useless this seed. So whatever is path to Goma is going to be blocked by either bombs or the grappling hook. Interestingly, we do have a small key in the basement that has been hinted, so we know that we need at least either leaf or fire and ice, and that is a grapple locked chest, spiky up there, but we've got another spike chest that we can get out of logic here, which is a Tingle statue, which is also dead, as we know from our hints. So, very, very interesting. This could potentially be a triple dip of paw print if we get bombs early without the grapple, or power bracelets. But we know that our path item to Goma is still in there somewhere. If I were to wager any sort of guess, I could see grapple being on the right boulder, locked by bombs or power bracelets. But there are a lot of things it can be, and we see a Triforce shard here being sold for 20 rupees. What a steal.
Thank you. Bye.
And paw print becomes one check denser today. Oh, that's correct, actually. I didn't think about it, but paw print being path to Goma could also be this lookout platform. Something that you don't see very often, because we usually don't play with those. So he's probably just going to knock these bokoblins off of the platforms so that they fall to their deaths. Okay, no, this is a wooden chest. So this is also not our path. So everything that I was saying earlier is still correct. Alex is going to do this cool peek strat that we saw Tanjo do. And we can see the ghost ship in the distance for Tanjo. Unfortunately, we do not have the chart, so we will not be doing that today. And I still don't think we have seen what Alex stored from Mother and Child, so that's still something that could come into play. Oh, power bracelets on the Crescent Moon. Unlucky. Gonna have to sail all the way back south just to do that one check that we left behind in Pop Ring. And it looks like Alex is gonna have to do the exact same thing because he is at Pop Ring as we speak. A little unlucky, but more often than not, you're gonna want to route it how both Alex and Tanjo are doing because it does save a few seconds. Going in two straight lines is better than doing a diagonal followed by a straight line. Oh, it looks like Alex is not going to dip yet. It looks like Alex is going to check Beetle first. I don't see him going to Crescent before checking the island, though. Also, Tanjo saying hi to the Salvage Corps one more time. Either forgetting that he checked it or accidentally talking to them. Both happen. Okay, yeah, after checking Beetle, Alex is going to go to the island. And Tanjo is going to check this chest for us. Let's see what we find here. It is a spiky chest. And it is a hero's bow. So that could be something very interesting. The only thing... You think Mother and Child was Wind God Arya? I could see that. If he has it on him, that would be the one place where he could have gotten it. I have not looked at his pause menu very closely yet, admittedly. But bow is very interesting. That could be for Cyclos. It could be for anything that is fire and ice lock. Now, the interesting thing, if it is fire and ice to access the bottom of DRC, then our leaf has to be locked behind something that is key locked in DRC. So that could have some logical implications, because we could know that our leaf is locked somewhere. So if Cyclos is dead because we don't have Tatzian logic, that's something very interesting indeed. Wind Shrine check for Tanjo, just a treasure chart, nothing we need today. And Alex getting the Tingle statue that we do not need this seed. This is technically another check that could be logically impacted by the bow. However, as we also have the bait bag, we have multiple ways to get this chest, and as such, our path for the bow could not be for this. And also important to keep in mind, the top of Poprint also has a spiky chest. So, we know that that could also be our path if it has something else that we need. Okay, so this is one of the cool little implications for chest size or chest type matches contents in Wind Waker. So, from what you saw, Alex only had 3 songs, not Wind God Zarya. Okay, sounds good. So, 2 things interesting from chest type matches contents. We saw that he stored that chest. It was just a wooden chest. So, we know that what he stored was nothing. This creates an interesting little logical thing that you can do, where if you get chest storage, you don't want to save warp out of it because you have no idea what you've stored and it could end up being something important. With chest type matches contents, now we know if what we stored is good or not. So even if he had to go all the way up to get that leaf chest, which he thankfully didn't have to because he also saw that was wooden, he could have save warped instead of having to do the long trek away from that chest because he knew what he stored was a junk item. So this makes the aspects of storage very dynamic and change a lot of things up. Now we see Tanjo here at Starbelt Archipelago, which we know is path to, if I remember correctly, Kalidemos. So we know that this will have something, it's just a matter of what. And it is a boomerang. That is the most path to Kalidemos thing you could ever ask for. So you could kind of see that as a little bit of bait. However, in these settings, there are actual logical implications because those the boomerang can be used to break the platform cannons for these lookout platforms for the ones that require it. So that does open up a lot into logic immediately. And we see Alex here at a check we haven't seen yet at the 7-star lookout platform. And our first check is wooded, so nothing super huge from here. I believe we can check one more. And this one looks like it's spiky. So we've got something here. It's just a matter of what. And it is our 3rd pearl. So this one is the only one that could have logical implications, as it unlocks a piece of mail. So there is a 3rd platform that does have a chest where Alex is at, but unfortunately, Tanjo taking the risk, jumping off, hoping that it wasn't going to be a spike chest, but unfortunately it was, so he has to climb up the ladder one more time. But Alex needs some sort of ranged weapon to do the 3rd platform on the 7-star Isle chest. Ooh, we've got another shard for Tanjo. That is indeed required. So whichever platform this is, I did not quite see which one he went to. Ooh, grappling hook. Okay, for Alex. So we have some very different branching paths, which is something that you are going to see from these settings. So that grapple could potentially be huge, especially since I believe we have a DRC path to Earth Temple. So we know that there is at least something in there. If I were to take any sort of guess, I'm thinking that Leaf is somewhere in the ERC, just based on the hints that we've seen so far. All right, we've got Note to Mom from the mail that Alex just got. Not 100% sure which mail that was. I kind of missed it. Ooh, a little scuffed order from Tanjo there. Oh, nope, it still ended up working out. That was very cool. But a little too close, so he can't quite reach the closest cannon to him. Just gonna hit that. And what do we got? That's a spiky chest. It was for Roar's Pearl, that's right. So that's not going to have any huge implications right now. But we do have a very early Big Pig play. We do have both the power bracelets and the bait bag, so this is in logic. This is usually something we see much later on. We have another sword for Tanjo, getting a lot of the Ice Rod items out of the way quickly. Alright. Alex doing our favorite trick, the pig yeet, which if you have not seen before, you can get just by wedging the pig between the gate and his owner, which allows you to kind of put him at a skew and then throw him across the island, which is much faster than just carrying him slowly across the island. Unfortunately, our favorite pig did not have anything useful today. But we will see if our favorite Islet of Steel does, as Tanjo is going to be sitting outside of it, waiting for some friendly fire. Islet of Steel is, if I remember correctly, Path to Mulgera. Ooh, that was clean by Tanjo. You love to see that. But so, there is the potential that this has something, and even if it doesn't, Tanjo has a bow. So Tanjo can check the lookout platform here that requires a bow and arrow to fight. So either way, he will be finding his Wind Temple path here, which I am thinking a hookshot is very much on the path of Mulgera. That is an amazing find. And it looks like Alex is going to collect whatever is on the top of Headstone here. So we will see in a second what he ended up peeking. It looked like a chart to me, so it might be Ghost Ship chart. We will see as the seagull gets closer. Yes, indeed, that looks like Ghost Ship chart to me. Alright, in terms of checking this lookout platform, the reason why you need the bow here is because you need to kill all of the enemies, and all of these Wizrobes are on the outside where you cannot reach it unless you have a ranged weapon. And it also has a spiky chest. The hammer. That is also Path to Mulgera. We have an ambiguous Path to Mulgera on Islet of Steel. That's kind of interesting. And Alex picking up the Cabana Deed from the 2i platform. You'll notice that he peeked it with the boomerang from afar, so he was able to tell if it was spiky or not. From a distance. And I believe Tanjo is now at the 5-star sub, if I'm not mistaken. Not sub, platform. I did mean the telescope, yes. I am speaking a mile a minute here, I apologize. Alright, but that is a wooden chest here on this platform. And Alex is here at Dragon Roost Island. Thank you, Brain. So, probably going to route this in to Poprint, if I were to guess, where he will be able to get the... Okay, just kidding. Going to Starbelt, which also makes sense. But Alex will probably end up making his way to Paw Print soon, as he has the means to clear the rest of it, and that will let him get his bow and arrow. Meanwhile, Tanjo, finally going to be making the way to Cliff Plateau. You usually see this a lot earlier. However, we just had so many other things to look out for with all of these early in logic lookout platforms. So we're going to see something a little more normal. So Tanjo is looking to get storage off of this little incline here. Kind of struggling a little bit, but once he gets it, this will allow him to skip the leaf requirement to get to the upper chest. There we go. Easy. Alright, Alex picking up that boomerang. Now has the means to do a whole lot of things and a whole lot more platforms. So we have just a wooden chest here, so we're not going to find anything useful from Tanjo's side. Alright, Alex warping back to Dragon Roost Island, so I'm going to assume going to be making the way back to Paw Print from here. Oh, getting kind of trapped up by Beetle. Oh, going to be using this boomerang here to knock down this chest. Very smart. Tanjo either intentionally rechecking some of these hints, or just accidentally talking to Coral. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. However, I'm going to also just say there's a fair chance. So Tanjo has storage here, which would mean that it is impossible to climb this ladder unless, of course... he just has normal... What did you do? I was looking at Alex. That's the one problem with having single commentary. Sometimes I miss things. Okay, so, going to opt to not check Bird's Peak Rock here. There are plenty of other things around nearby to store, such as the lookout platforms at Thorned, so he will be able to get into Bird's Peak Rock if he does not find that grapple from Outset first. But it does look like he's going to go for a density play here, going to 7-star to clear out all 3 of the platforms that Alex was only able to do 2 of earlier. So this will save Tanjo a pretty hefty amount of time, not having to double dip this area. However, Alex will also save a little bit of time by not triple dipping this island he is at right now, Paw Print. So it is all trade-offs. Get that 3rd pearl. While Alex is going to get something that we have not seen yet. And that is bombs. That is a beautiful find for Alex. That could also end up being our path to Go. There are too many Go boss names. Goma, Godin. Path to Goma if the bombs end up blocking the leaf somehow, or our second bow. However, at this point, our path to Goma has to be some way to get that small key down the basement. What's happening over here? Well, let me tell you, Koala, we are doing the same settings that you and Alex ran a few days ago, except with 4 dungeons instead of 3. Alright, looks like Tanjo is going to be checking over here for Cyclos. I am still kind of in the boat, but I'm thinking that bow is going to be required for Ice Arrow entrance down to DRC, and then Leaf will be locked in the back of DRC somewhere. So I'm thinking our DRC is going to end up being a very useful play once we get to it. And Alex going to finish up the checks that he had to leave behind earlier. If I remember correctly, you do have to end up fighting the Wizrobes that you already killed. So, gonna have to do a little bit of sitting around and waiting. Meanwhile, Tanjo finishing up Cyclos, gonna be getting his item here in a second. And it is a lot of love. Oh wow, the chests even respawn if you don't open them. That's kind of fun. He did indeed open the second one though, so there will be no chest to respawn as it is already there. Sitting there open. And I think Tanjo just warped to outset, so yep, going to be finding that grapple very soon. And knowing Tanjo, I would not be shocked to see him enter DRC very soon after. Alright, and there's that third chest, an unfortunate time sink for nothing. But once again, going to be saving a lot of time. Especially if Tanjo opts to enter DRC before getting those bombs. Those bombs could end up being a really big time saver for Alex. Tanjo picking up that note to Mom. While Alex, I'm thinking, is going over to the Cyclops Reef. Not Cyclops, Cyclops Reef. Because we know that the Sixth Eye is dead. So this is just kind of orphaned on its own over here. That is a petition I could get behind, Panda, for sure. Stop confusing poor Tuba's brain. Too many similar names. Cyclos, Cyclops, Godin, Goma. Alright, Alex finding a spiky chest. This is, if I remember correctly, one that we saw Tanjo do already. Yes, that was the second shard that we saw earlier. Tanjo about to find out that the pig does not have anything for him today. Leaf on Bitomail and DNF are similar names as well that we need to get rid of. I could not agree more. That is one of the better takes I've seen. So we see Tanjo routing in the pig straight over to Mesa, doing the roll clip. Doing it very well. And getting that grappling hook. What was in Mother and Child? That is still something we do not have the answer to. It is not anything on the front pause screen. Otherwise, we probably would have seen it by now. And with that, that is a DRI warp for Tanjo. 100% going to be making his way straight to Dragon Roost Island, or Dragon Roost Cavern. I'm wondering if he is on the same line of thought that I am. That leaf is probably buried in here somewhere. Now, this does mean that Alex will probably get to save a little bit of time with those bombs in DRC over Tanjo, unless fire and ice arrows are in here. Because if Tanjo does backwards DRC... Ooh, don't jump off, Alex. That was a little close. And there's that sword. Because unless Tanjo opts to do forward DRC for some reason, backwards is made faster with the fire and ice arrows or the bombs. And although the storage strat does not take very long, it is still a little slower. Albeit the risk is taken out due to the fact that Tanjo does have that hook shot. Alright, so half hour in, we are seeing our first dungeon out of 4. Still plenty of overworld to be scoured. Oops, accidentally jumping off there. Can you hookshot that chest? I don't think you can hookshot the chest, but you can hookshot the torch that is sitting in the middle of the room through the wooden barrier. Alright, Alex about to get the love from Cyclos, while Tanjo is going for another thing that takes 3 shots. Only has 11 arrows as of right now to get this set up, so gonna have to be a little careful. Not seeing the Canadian sniper come out here. Okay, there's our first shot. Easy second shot. Has 6 arrows to get this last shot, and there we go. Now, no leaf and no bombs. This is another place that Alex will get to save time. Tanjo has to go all the way around here, whereas Alex will just be able to blow up the wooden barriers in the next room and go around the other way. So overall, still nothing too crazy time-wise, but still something to keep in mind. Our first chest is a wooden chest. Nice butt burn by Tanjo. That is a strat that everyone should pick up for sure. And for anyone that is new and confused by that, I am being sarcastic. Don't do that. Alright, moment of truth here. Will this be a key chest, or are we forced to get the bottom chest as our first small key? That is a spiky chest. Oh boy. So, that is a command melody, which is indeed path to Jahala for Earth Temple. But, more importantly, it is not a small key, meaning that we have to get that basement chest as our first small key, meaning that either leaf or fire arrows are somewhere out in the overworld. However, Tanjo does not have to worry about that requirement, as there is a very nice platform to come down and jump on right here so that he can go get that small key. Alex is going to be picking up his hook shot, followed up by the skull hammer right outside of here. The double path to Mulgara, so you'll never know which one was actually hinted. Ooh, and gets the frame perfect release of the grapple. Always nice to see. If we didn't have the bow to shoot down the platform, you could still make your way to this chest just by doing a little bit of a setup. This Magtail not wanting to cooperate today. But since we had the bow, it's just a lot nicer, quicker, and safer. Don't have to do any sort of setup to get onto the platform. And we just get our easy small key. It looks like Tanjo's just going to walk back out the way he came and walk onto the platform. Do not blame him, as he does not have the leaf. It does become a little longer to make your way around to the platform. So this is probably a little faster in the long run. The quick double snipe there for the keys. Alex peeking that needle rock chest. It is a wooden chest, so he knows he can just leave it alone. And making the way down to Diamond Step from here. Do not think we have seen this yet. Ninja will be taking the DRC backward strat here, starting with the under rope, and we'll probably go backwards through the mini boss. Meanwhile, Alex doing diamond step on time will be able to do it potentially the fastest if the first technical chest does not have anything. He's going to pull out the bombs and line himself up. Ooh, we have a spiky chest in the under rope bridge. Fire and ice arrows. Okay, so that could potentially mean that it's a leaf in the overworld somewhere. Or that is our logically required light arrows. That is very interesting. Either way, a very good pickup for Tanjo. Also, it looks like both chests in Diamond Step were dead. So although it had nothing in it, he was still able to do it the fastest because he did not have to go over to the further chest. So that is a win in our books. And it looks like Alex is going to opt to do Leafless Horseshoe here. A very spicy strat. But this also makes sense because there are two platforms here that we have seen from neither runner yet that are both Spear Zero. So this is something that could have a lot of implications. Doesn't look like there's anything over on the other side of the lava pits, or if they are, Tanjo is opting to wait until later to check them. And also, considering the fact we are not fighting the mini-boss, I'm going to assume that we saw nothing there. Oh, getting knocked off. Oh, I didn't even catch that. Tanjo did not open the warp pot. I do not remember seeing him do that. So that is going to be a long climb to come back. That is definitely an oopsie. That looks like a boss key for Tanjo right there that we are going to need to store. Oh wait, no! Pardon me, I forgot we have fire ice arrows. So Tanjo did end up finding it, so we can do it fast. I wonder if Tanjo will open this warp pot, maybe? Yeah, I get the feeling that he realized he made a mistake. So this is better than nothing, but it's not that much faster. Alright, but over on Alex's side, we are seeing a setup. This is a little precise. It has to line himself up with the vine. Earth God Lyric, another item that could be path. Oh, rip Alex. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, Koala. Alright, so that should be our... Hold up here. Unless I missed something, shouldn't chest across the lava pit be a small key? Maybe I'm incorrect here, and I missed something. Oh, and Tanjo, please. Both runners kind of going through their struggling arc right now. Alright, well, it looks like there was nothing in that chest. So it looks like Tanjo's now going to go take this warp pot to the second warp pot. We'll have to either jump on the platform to go up or just climb up through pot room. And it looks like opting to go up through pot room. Alright, that is a spiky chest over on Alex's side on one of the Spear Zero platforms here. Could be huge. I didn't see if Alex gave up on Leafless Horseshoe, but I'm going to assume yes. I will also laugh if this is Leaf, but it's pretty likely at this point. Okay, no, it is a bottle. Still good. That gets us our soup. And a wooden chest, so we do not have to cross back over to the other side. Alright, and Tanjo made short work of having to climb back up. So, in the Goma boss fight now. So while Tanjo finishes up 2 minutes of cutscenes, we'll just go ahead and focus over to Alex for a bit. So it looks like Alex is going to another place we have not seen yet, the 5-star aisle. Oh wait, nope, just kidding. Looks like we're also going to see the rafts down here. Still something we have not seen yet. So probably the boating course raft, followed up by the raft down at the bottom. In 5-star aisle, followed up by the Destroy the Cannons. He's getting out. Must be a spiky chest. Yes, indeed. And it is a Tingle statue. That is big ol' bait this seed. From Tanjo there. Yeah, it is interesting to note that we still have a lot of overworld left for both runners, because there are a lot of lookout platforms that we still have to deal with, many of them involving meeting Leaf. So this still has the potential to be a very long seed, but we have seen our first dungeon completed by Tanjo, while Alex has been finishing up, clearing out some of this overworld. And that is a spiky chest for Alex. Oh, just barely missing that angle. Gonna have to do the climb of shame. Other statue. Fairies are not on for this setting. We did see an Eastern Fairy Island Foolish, but that will only be for the lookout platforms. Alright, Tanjo making his way to Paw Print for the 3rd time, gonna find his bombs. And then if I were to take a guess, we'll probably go to Fire Mountain directly after this. The big differences between our runners right now, Alex has done a lot more of the overworld at the cost of not having as much progression as Tanjo. Alex has found a lot in terms of items that are kind of ambiguous, such as the Tingle statues or the Ghost Ship chart, whereas Tanjo has found a lot more things that are like, yes, this is needed, at least logically, to beat the seed, such as our command melody, Earth God Lyric, or the Fire and Ice Arrows. But all 3 of the items that I listed are in DRC, so once Alex makes his way there, he will find all 3 of those and basically be caught up. Meanwhile, Tanjo will still have a lot of the overworld to clear over, so this is still easily anyone's race. That is a 2nd bottle for Alex. I suppose with about half of the checks and logic, you are probably expected to find at least 2 bottles. Also, Tanjo once again making use of talking to Coral. Probably an accident, but that's okay. The biggest logical question mark at this point. Yeah, that was a long time without checking bomb mail, but he's just been going ham on all of the platforms. Also, we still have not seen Bird's Peak yet, because Tanjo opted to leave it be. But this is in logic, because we have had bait bags since about the 5-minute mark. Tanjo getting a double boosted by the card rod. At least it didn't knock him off the island, but it is still annoying to have to climb up. Alright, Alex clipping into Bird's Peak with the grappling hook. Very nice. Skip's having to either use storage to get in or a very, very long seagull puzzle. It is a spiky chest. Let's see what Tanjo left behind here. And it is the fire and ice arrows, so that is logical light arrows at the top of DRC. Unless Leaf is somewhere else out there. But considering that, no, I'm pretty sure Leaf has to be locked behind those fire and ice arrows, because paw print is on the path to Goma. So Leaf is locked behind the fire and ice out there, and that is our logical lights up in DRC. That is very, very interesting. ZeldaSpeedRuns, thank you so much for the raid with a party of 59. Much appreciated. We are going through kind of a little logical revelation here that we have not seen happen in Wind Waker basically at all until these pathings were added. Also, we've got a spiky chest up here in Fire Mountain. And that is our other shield. We now know where our mirror shield is. Both runners having different shields on their person currently. Alex finding a spike chest. I think this is Southern Ferry lookout platforms, but I could be wrong. No, this is Thorn Ferry. Sending love from the Minish Cap community. Much, much love. I got to see a little bit of that race before we started off. And that is our last sword for Alex. We now know where all of the swords are. Giving a little love to our Minish Cap community. I know that the next tournament has been announced for end of summer, beginning of fall, and I am excited to see that take place. I might have to refresh myself a little bit on Minish Cap. But yeah, it is going well here. Well, yeah, we are getting close to no mode. We really, between our two runners, only need 2 shards, a leaf, and that's really it. Yeah, only 3 items from no mode between both of our runners. Both of our runners still need a lot of what each other has. But overall, we are getting the seed figured out. Very good chance we could have 1 or 2 go mode dungeons here today. Yeah, logically speaking, Wind God's Aria is required. However, both of our runners are to the point that they know how to skip it. for both Songstones. So all right, Alex picking up the Mirror Shield over by Fire Mountain. Probably going to do Fire Mountain right after this, and we'll end up grabbing nothing. Glitchless no sequence break race win. We've been talking about some like no major glitch category, but oh my goodness, any full-on no sequence break rando would just be add several hours to the race for no reason, which would not be fun. Wind Waker gets a lot of flack for including the things that we do. However, whenever you put it into perspective, it actually ends up being both a lot easier at times and way more streamlined. Otherwise, it just becomes sit there, control a seagull for 10 minutes at bird speed. I might be willing to do that, Koala. That could be fun. Yeah, literally, as you said, sailing simulator. That's what it becomes. But a no major glitches category could be something that is not the worst. Also, we're going to see Tanjo do the same thing that Alex did. Peek over at the other... oh, well, maybe... no, looks like Tanjo's going for it. Did not get to peek it from the other side, it looks like. Yeah, NMG would have its struggles, but would not be as bad as just completely saying no to glitches. Yeah, so Tanjo didn't peek the chest from the other side and ended up walking all the way over, so Alex gets to save a little time there. The main question is, where's this leaf gonna be? I'm pretty sure most of Earth Temple is in logic. And if it's locked behind fire and ice arrows, that is a very prime suspect if it is either on left side or a small key is on left side. Other than that, there is also Ice Ring, which I do believe Alex might be going to now. We just checked Needle Rock, and it was not there. Oh wait, no, it looks like Tanjo might be making the way to Ice Ring. Not Alex, I apologize. That is a beautiful bet. Because the only things that were in DRC are the command melody, the Earth God lyric, and the light arrows. So I'm thinking it's going to be in Earth Temple somewhere, or locked behind something in Earth Temple. Because if it's not here and it's locked behind those fire and ice arrows, we've got an interesting scenario on our hands. And that's nothing. Oh my goodness, we might have an ET leaf here today. If I have my logic straightened out, the path to Godin, well, it can also be something that is bomb locked. So, yeah, Grapple was on Mesa. So, our path to Goma has to either be that bow, or it has to be the bombs. And if it's the bow so that you can get to Yeah, no, I'm thinking it has to be that bow. Because if it was either you need leaf or fire and ice arrows to get to... Oh, I'm trying to think here. I'm confusing myself with my own logic. Because in order for Poprint to be pathed to Goma, with the grapple being Spear 0, it has to be a way to get down to that small key. Also, nice third bottle. So if it is that bow, that means it has to be the fire and ice arrows, meaning that fire and ice arrows have to lock the leaf. And if it's on none of the fire and ice checks, then I'm thinking it has to be in Earth Temple. Because those fire and ice arrows were available to get to the bottom of DRC, which then locks our Earth Temple. So I am really thinking with this logic, it has to be fire and ice locked in Earth Temple somewhere. We'll be going a long time without our leaf. Because, quite simply, I don't see either of our runners going to Earth Temple until they have cleared the overworld. It could also just be EGL locked, because that was indeed locked beyond the basement small key. Oh my goodness, this seed just gets more and more interesting by the second. Oh, hey, look at that. Mother and child was a Tingle statue. We finally got to see it. So, no big thing that will decide the race on Mother and Child today. But Tanjo did save it until he had a bottle. 2 of them, in fact. So he was able to get the ferry there on his first trip there. Whereas I think Alex is probably going to be getting his ferry from the top of DRC. And at the hour mark, we will finally have our first good grandson. People happy. This point is, when does Tanjo go to Bird's Peak Rock? Because I think Tanjo is trying to put off Bird's Peak until he can do all of the Thorn Fairy checks, which is going to be problematic because you need Leaf for that. But he's not going to know about the logic of the Fire and Ice arrows until he goes to get that. So this could be just kind of a last location kind of situation for him. He's also not going to go until he gets that mirror shield from Star Island, which is also just kind of isolated and on its own. He is going to Earth Temple now, but he's not going to enter. He's probably just, or at least that's going to be my call. He's probably just going to peek top of Headstone and then take off to 2i Reef's platform, which are both things that we have seen Alex do. Alex doing the butt burn strat, a favorite of Tanjo's as well. So Tanjo should probably see the ghost ship chart here and will probably attempt to pick it up. Or not. Maybe Tanjo mispeaked it as a normal chart. That is another thing that this race could come down to. Because that could either be something really brutal for Tanjo. He could also just not have a pair. That is possible. But I feel like with the money that he had, he would have picked one up whenever he picked up the bait for Big Pig. Because he got an orange rupee really early on. So there's no reason not to buy them both at that time. Picking up that Cabana Deed. We already saw Alex pick that up quite a while ago. Alex down in the basement about to get his forced small key. Cabana Deed is indeed useless to us this seed, as we did get a Private Oasis foolish hint. Okay, Tanjo is going to find the Mirror Shield here, making his way all the way over to Star Island, where he will be able to pick up that second shield. Being much more cognizant of the barrels, making sure that he does not run into them. And that is a Mirror Shield for Tanjo. Oh, pardon me. So Alex opted to save warp out, so he has to take the long way around. But it is not that long of a walk. Oh my goodness. Tanjo 3 with the Dirty Dungeon Rush play. Going to Earth Temple. This is not the play I would have expected. I would have expected it if he had his logical lights. Or, sorry, logical fire and ice. But he does not have that. Just opting to go to Earth Temple, does not want to do anything else first. Although I suppose he could be thinking that with that bow path to Goma, that it has to be the fire and ice, even if he hasn't found the fire and ice yet. So he knows that the leaf would have to be fire and ice locked, even with the info he has now. We will have to ask him that in the interview, but I do think that this is the right play. And there is the logical lights for Alex. Probably sitting there. Yep, I knew he is. That is the correct response to those light arrows. Yeah, that is one thing about this play for Tanjo as compared to Alex. Alex will enter with the light arrows, and that's a lot of time to be saved in Earth Temple. Light arrows speed up a lot of things, especially Valhalla. But Tanjo does have his Mirror Shield. Moblin, good take. Thank you for doing that. Alright, so I think Tanjo did something like this earlier, but I wasn't watching when he did. This is a good strat to do for CTMC, where you enter the room by the boss door. Okay, never mind. He did not do the strat, but you can still do another strat, which is still faster than doing the entire mini-boss fight. Since you know that it is a wooden chest, you can just kind of skip out on it. Just say no to fighting and leave. But also, if you did not enter and trigger the fight, you could just jump off and respawn by the door, which I think Alex meant to do, but just kind of probably autopiloted. CTMC is still fairly new, and getting rid of the muscle memory from non-CTMC is kind of hard. Tanjo barely missing the hammer peg there. Getting ready to reset up the jump. This is a cute little thing that you can do to avoid having to either use the leaf or command melody. Oh, barely coming short. But you just kind of line up with medley to where you fly toward the peg, release medley in the middle of the air, and hit the peg with the hammer. And that skips having to use command melody or the leaf. Tanjo showing off why medley is the worst companion out of the two. If you bonk her into a wall, it takes your entire lifespan before she's ready to pick up, which is why Makar is the best boy. So we know that these two chests cannot be the leaf, because they are not blocked by Fire and Ice arrows. And the command melody was not blocked by the Fire and Ice arrows, because it was in one of the two Sphere Zero chests. But it does look like we have a second key up here, which Tanjo is going to opt to store. I'm going to assume he's going to take this up to the top area. He does not have Leaf, so he's going to need to bring Medley with him. Bringing Medley up here is a little harder than not. For this reason mainly, the side hop to get onto the earring and then get onto the head are harder than just being able to jump slash up. However, it is possible, as we have seen here, well done by Tanjo, and he's going to climb up here and jump on over and knock Medley to the ground, which is not a bad thing to do at all, because you do not need to bring her the rest of the time. Alright, so Alex finishing up the rest of backwards DRT, going to take the warp pot that Tanjo did not open to get back to Goma very quickly. That is a very good comparison, Cubs. I love that. Medley is just Yoshi in this scenario. Alright, so Tanjo will probably hopefully not lose storage here. Uh-oh. Oh no, it is a key. Very interesting. But it looks like Tanjo is going to climb up here, open the shortcut. Okay, there we go. No, he's going to do this so he can lose storage first. I don't know if you can get up to that chest and then get out unless you have the leaf. So thought about it in advance. Probably going to get another key here. Going to get another key. It is a small key, so the rest is Fire and Ice locked, even if it wasn't for EGL. And he's going to enter here to lose storage and get whatever key he stored from here, whether it be the small or big key. And he has two keys, so it looks like he stored the third small key. So that is all three small keys collected. And in order to leave this room, Tanjo has to collect this, which is the boss key. Important if you do not have the leaf. Tanjo taking the time to drop a bomb by the Stalfos' feet so that he does not disrupt him while he opens up the door with the mirror shield. So now there are 2 more checks for Tanjo to grab here on the left side. There's this one in this room, and then there's the one in the 3-block puzzle room. That is a golden feather, and unfortunately does not make the jump back, so he will have to take the time to kill these 3 very, very blue redeads. Like a white blue. This is a blue eyes white redead. Redeads. Like if you were to put redeads on Ice Ring, that is what they would look like. Blink Dio. Alright, so that is Alex done with DRC. Alex still has a little more overworld left, I think, over Tanjo, but also has the light arrows over Tanjo, so he will be able to save some time. And that is the left side completely empty. Looks like we are going to have to traverse the basement. And it looks like he is going to store this chest here. Very quick storage from Tanjo. So Alex going to be the savior of the grandma. And I get the feeling that Alex understands the leaf logic as well. Because if I'm going to take a guess, I'm going to say that Alex is probably going to follow right behind Tanjo here. And go right into Earth Temple. I would say that this is still fairly even. Just because Tanjo does have the entirety of the beginning and left side of Earth Temple done. And although Alex will get to save a little time, that is still a pretty fair majority that Tanjo has already done. So I would say that, along with the fact that we still have 2 entire dungeons left, and God knows where our last 2 shards will be, this is still pretty even. It'll come down to whatever overworld everyone does, because Tanjo does not have that much overworld left. And if he's smart, he will know that his logical Fire and Ice has to be early if he finds the leaf in here. And there's genuinely not a lot of places left that leaf can be, just because our other 2 dungeons require the leaf to even enter them. Yep, it looks like Alex will be following right into Earth Temple, so we will have a double Earth Temple here. Tanjo going to use Soup to do this room in what, in my opinion, is the fastest way to do it, even over light arrows. Unless you do it in the way that Tanjo's doing it, with a jump slash and a quick spin. I personally tend to like to do normal slash followed by a jump slash. I think that is the quickest way to kill these floor masters. Tanjo gambling that this chest is dead, getting punished, those are spikes, go back and get your chest. There is no leaving this room. But it could be your leaf, so you might be happy about it. Nope, it is a delivery bag. So now we could have the Note to Mom or Letter to Bido mail have the leaf, which would be very funny. Of Alex catching up a little bit here, getting through the first 2 rooms of ET, while Tanjo, without the leaf, unfortunately having to do the slow vanilla strats. Hello, Robin Mobbin. I hope you are doing well today. Thanks for joining us. But oh my goodness, if the leaf ends up being on that, on one of the 2 letters, especially the one after Jahala, this will just be a very, very rude scene. And I genuinely think I would check those before I check basement, just because half-room strats are so slow. But without the leaf, you're going to be forced to do that. But that's another dead chest, so if I were Tanjo in this position, I would open the warp pot, kill Jahala, and check those 2 mail. Just in case. Because even if it's something, if it's not the leaf, you can just warp out of it. Oh yeah, you could do the bow strat. I always forget that that exists. And it is a little faster, but it's just so niche and only would be used for this kind of a seed that I never bothered to learn it. Well, let's see what Tanjo does here. Yep, drop in. Okay, it looks like he is going to do basement first. And this is Tanjo, so Tanjo will do the bow strat. Unless, of course, one of these 2 chests is spiky, in which he will probably take the time to check those first. So it looks like Tanjo is setting up for the bow strats here. And I don't know if Alex knows the bow strats, so he might opt for half-room strats. Is very precise. It requires you to shine the light into the left eye from here, which, as you can see, is no easy feat, especially with how hard it is to aim medley. But Tanjo gets it, and will then do a setup here to pull out the bow. Which then shines the light up into the other eye. Well done by Tanjo. Well, that is 2 dead chests. So we've got the big key chest, which is what I bet, or the Stalfos room, or any of the Jahala mails. Yeah, he made that look really easy. That is not easy to do. Although I also do not like doing that room. That is a spiky chest. Oh boy, oh boy. I don't like doing it because I have very shaky fingers. So trying to get medley to a position to hit that is near impossible for me. Alright, and ET Big Key Chest is our Leaf. Score 1-4, Tuba Man. And I am going to hide in a corner whenever it comes for this interview, because that is probably the worst place that could have been. Did I not bet? Ah, dang it. I put exclamation mark bet. I tried. I just must have done the command wrong. Oh well. I did exclamation mark ET. See, I was just solidifying that I was in Earth Temple. That's funny though. But that is our leaf. I will take this as a win in spirit, but you can let someone else win the bet. I am a generous man. But alright, Tanjo is going to make his way up the vine wall and will leaf on over to beat Jalhalla. Also interesting to note that Leaf was the only thing inside of Earth Temple. We did not find either of our remaining shards. Fun little strat here. Climb up a little longer and just leaf over from there. Makes for a little bit of time save. Sorry, let me rephrase. Interesting and good items in Earth Temple. Kappa. Alex getting knocked down. Also gonna have to fight some redeads. Now, if there's a shard on either of the Note to Mom nails, I'm gonna have to shut up and eat my own words. But seeing Alex finishing up the same route. Oh my goodness. Okay. Monka W. But Alex got through and did not get grabbed. But we see Alex kind of finishing up what Tanjo did, while Tanjo is going to finish up with Jalhalla. So we have 2 shards left for Go mode, and those can be basically anywhere. So it can be the remainder of the overworld, or it could be Forbidden Woods, or it could be Wind Temple. Now, if Tanjo is smart, he will know that his light arrows cannot be in Forbidden Woods or Wind Temple, so he knows that his light arrows are somewhere on the overworld. That is true. If there is a shard on Golf, that will hurt Alex a lot. Alex attempting to play the wrong song, making sure to check out the giant stone behind him that has the correct notes behind him. There we go. And we've got Tanjo making his way to Golf. But before he does golf, he will check these 2 checks. Saying no to the Cargarok that just got all up in his face, but that Cargarok's coming back for revenge. Alright, did not quite get to steal chair. Now, Alex is actually going to get to save a little time over Tanjo here. Because Tanjo went to this one first, whereas Alex went to the other one. So Alex just got to leave immediately after this lookout platform. Oh, gets sniped. Unfortunate. Has to climb all the way back up. So Tanjo is going to have to cross over to the other side and get the spiked chest on the other side, which will unfortunately not be anything that he is looking for. It will indeed be his 3rd bottle, though. So that is the slightest amount of time saved that Alex will get over Tanjo here. Alright, Alex opting to do the ice arrow into hammer strats on the floor masters here. And that is bottle number 3 for Tanjo. Slashing away that Cargarok for good measure. And now on his way to golf, while Alex grabs that delivery bag. Will get to save a lot of time over Alex, because Alex spent a lot of time trying to do this trick leafless, but unfortunately could never get it. Probably spent several minutes, but unfortunately got caught up here. Why did Tanjo leave the platform chest? So we are trying some experimental things called chest size matches contents. You're going to see him leave this chest here too, because it is just wooden. There are 3 different kinds of chests. The first one, the wooden one that we just saw, means that the chest has nothing good that we need in it. If it is a blue iron-plated chest, that means it has a small key or a big key in it. Or, finally, if it is one of the spiky chests, it has progression. Exactly like Ocarina of Time or MM. We are not afraid to say that we took this concept and tried to mold it for ourselves. Because we really like the aspects of it. It helps cut out some of the fat from seeds, much like it would in Oot or MM. And it also has very different implications, such as what we can do with it with chest storage and other things. It's a Zelda randomizer and a good idea. That is exactly it. We aren't afraid to say that people have good ideas, and we want to see those implemented into what we have here as well. Now, seeing what Alex does here will be interesting. Will he check Jawhala first? Will he go to basement first? Either way, he will probably open the warp pod. Can we expect to see it public soon? You can test this yourself if you join the Wind Waker Randomizer racing community. You can find several builds of this online. And it also features path hints, which we have not been talking about as much since we're getting near the end of the seed, but you can test that as well. The hope is to get this pull released into the main build eventually. Chest type matches contents has already been pulled, at least as far as my knowledge goes. So it's just a matter of getting the hints all tested and figured out. Awesome, awesome. Good to hear. Alright, so this is a set of lookout platforms that Alex hasn't been to yet either, but it looks like all three of them are not going to be useful today. So it looks like Alex is going to clear these three checks to see if he can find his leaf first. But little did he know that it's going to be on that big key chest, because of course it was. But he can do this very quickly, because he has the light arrows. So this is going to be an area where he saves time over Tanjo, where he just gets to spam the light arrows, whereas Tanjo had to kill all three of these with boomerang, bombs, and the hammer, which is still quick, but not as quick. Without the light arrows still, but this is probably the better dungeon of the two to be going through. And he very well may take this into Bird's Peak Rock into Thorned, in which he will then find his light arrows soon after. The important thing is whether or not he'll know that he'll be in go mode if he finds 2 shards in here. And that's if he finds 2 shards in here. That's a spiky chest. So, what do we got here? A wallet. A second wallet. So many bait items today. But we are running out of those. The only ones we got left, we've got a single bottle, which isn't even guaranteed to be in the pool, or Wind God's Aria. Or for Tanjo, according to his tracker, also Ghost Ship Chart, which could still be a factor, because I don't think we've seen Alex do that yet. So for all we know, there could be a shard in there, and Tanjo could end up being very confused. But a very, very fast storage from Tanjo. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, it looks like Alex is kind of standing around right now. Might be trying to figure out how to solve this puzzle from where he has already gotten it. Just kind of soaking in the scenery. Meanwhile, Tanjo will take a little more time to break away and get through Forbidden Woods as fast as possible. I wonder if Alex is trying to find a setup or something. Nope, looks like he's about to... Oh, okay, no. He's thinking here. He's gonna get it figured out. Alright, he's pulling the statue here. Good, good. I'm starting to get the feeling that Alex does not know half-room strats or any of the strats to do this room quickly. Alright, looks like Tanjo's going to void out here so that he can store this chest. He did indeed, or not even store it, just open her up. So he's got the both small key and big key. Okay, there we go. It looks like Alex is getting this figured out. Just gotta line up Medley to hit the right eye. Because now that he has figured out half the room, he can work from there to get it all figured out. Alright, Tanjo is going to try to climb this room with 4 P-hats bothering him. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Yep, the pause followed up by the bow, and these P-hats are as good as if they were never spawned in. Alright, Alex, you're going to need to be a little further to the left here, I think. Oh, nope, he's got it. Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah, slightly to the left will make it a lot easier to shine the light. Because you can get it to shine, but it won't work unless you're getting it at a certain angle. There we go. And Alex will now make his way into the big key chest area, where he will then find his leaf where he wished he had it earlier. Alright. Forbidden Woods mini-boss. Looking dead. I do not remember Alex having done Ghost Ship yet. And there is the leaf. And an appropriate response for that leaf placement. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, Koala. If Tanjo ends up not with a shard, or not understanding that the top of Headstone was the Ghost Ship chart, that could end up being really bad for him. So the hope is that it's just nothing, so that he doesn't get into that situation. But if you are an Alex fan, you might be slightly hoping that that happens. We never wish ill of our runners, of course. Because alternatively, it could end up being really bad for Alex if Tanjo just gets to skip an entire Ghost Ship. Because every second can count. Alright, so we know from a sometimes hint that the Forbidden Woods tree trunk chest does not have anything, so we can skip going down there and just immediately do this bomb clip to make our way to the Forbidden Woods area. Yeah, we did see Alex with the save warp. Well, the time, he'll make up all of that time with the fact that he's got light arrows for Jawhala. Saves a lot of time. Alright, but that is basically all of Forbidden Woods done already for Tanjo. We've only been in here like 8 minutes, if that. And we have seen no shards. So this is looking like a completely go-modable dungeon. Alright, Tanjo gambling that this chest is dead by rolling away. But once again, with the punish. Go back and open that chest, young man. But it was a shard. So this was not a go-modable dungeon. And in fact, that might be probably the most BM place for a shard to be. We are going to see Alex leaving Earth Temple as Tanjo finishes up Forbidden Woods. Important to note that Alex does have his light arrows, but if I were to take a guess for Tanjo's routing, right after he checks all of the Forest Haven checks, he will probably make his way to Bird's Peak. And after checking mail. Because keep in mind, we still have not seen any, either of the Jahala mail checks yet, if I remember correctly. Alright, we are seeing the Southern Ferry lookout platforms for Alex. I do not think that Tanjo has done these yet, if I remember correctly. Alright, but that is one that is dead, and we have Tanjo doing the big old climb to get to the top of Forest Haven. I was getting a little owned by a cannon. As it turns out, the cannons in this game have either the worst aiming ever, or laser on sight, like you are already dead aim. And again, right as he is trying to get up to that fourth. That is so unfortunate. That is Wind God's Aria on top of the Deku tree. So that is one less bait chest that we know we'll find. And I'm pretty sure that is all bait chests, except for the last bottle that can be a spike chest. Are going to mail note to mom and is going to turn it night. This is going to be a total of 3 letters that he can check for. And it looks like Alex is going to follow suit right behind Tanjo, going straight into Forbidden Woods. Orca mail with a big ol' nuttin'. 100 rupees, 2 boot. Followed up by a silver rupee. Come on, Trevor. Nah, just a yellow rupee. Got our money back from the postage. Alright, so it looks like Tanjo is going to go to the Bama Island lookout platform. I don't know if we saw that from Alex. I feel like we did. But Tanjo has already marked off the cave because we got a hit for it. So, just has to do the lookout platform here, and then we'll probably go straight to the street right afterwards. Yep, that is a big old wooden chest, so Tanjo making the option to walk away from the chest and towards the boat paid off this time. Despite the couple of times that it has not paid off, for the most part it is a good idea to leave those chests behind. Alex getting his big old fat wallet, probably not very happy to see that. And we are having Tanjo show up at Bird's Peak, so we'll be getting his light arrows here. Who would I say has the lead here? I would say Tanjo has a slight lead. Anything can change. If the overworld has nothing and Tanjo opts to full clear it while Alex says, I'm just going to go straight to Wind Temple from here, that could end up being the game-winning play. Also, if the shard is on Ghost Ship, then Tanjo is in a world of hurt. So, this could go either way. And there is Tanjo's logical fire and ice arrows, or honestly, just logical bow. Just so long as it wasn't the light arrows, which is what he got. So, Tanjo breaking some logic. But what matters is he has it. Looks like Alex is looking to get a little magic from here. Yep. And we'll be following the same route through Forbidden Woods that Tanjo did. So we're going to come up here with storage up to this. Blow the warp pod open and then turn around and skip the small key. That he's stored. Alright, so now we have the Thorn Fairy platform chests, which I do believe Alex checked this first one, but was not able to check the second because he didn't have Leaf. It looks like Alex is also going to void out here, just like Tanjo did. We'll be picking up his big key. First one is, that's right, I forgot that Tanjo didn't have this sword. So yep, Tanjo is now basically caught up in all of his Go Mode items. Both of them are just looking for the last shard, and Alex will be picking up the shard that he is missing at the end of this dungeon. So he is on route to get it. Alex, much less willing to take the crap from the P-Hats, gets rid of them at the first second that he can. So at this point, I know Tanjo still has the Southern Ferry platforms he has to do. He's checking to see if he stored Ghost Ship chart, which he has not. Okay, speaking of the Southern Ferry lookout platforms, that's where he's going now. So yeah, just based on the fact that he looked to see if he stored Ghost Ship chart, he is definitely aware, or not aware, that it's up on the top of Headstone. So if it ends up being on Ghost Ship, I think we might see a DNF from Tanjo, because he's going to have zero clue what happened. He might be able to suss out that he saw a chart up top, so he mistook it for a normal chart. But sometimes in the heat of a race, you just get all sorts of confused. Alright. I think that's all of the overworld done for Tanjo. I think he's going to Wind Temple next. Yep. So he is only missing Ghost Ship. So Alex will still have Ghost Ship and some of the Leaf checks in the overworld. So I would say this just comes down to where the shard is. If the shard is here in Wind Temple, Tanjo has a very big advantage. If it's on Ghost Ship, then Alex has a very big advantage. Opting to cut down the flower and use it to get over to the big key chest. Not that much slower. Especially since the enemies are being very nice to him here. Tanjo checking the first check of Wind Temple, while Alex is getting ready to get his shard coming up. Alex also getting punished by hoping to skip this chest, but no, go back and pick up your spike chest. Hoping to save seconds, but instead you lose those seconds. It's the gamble you take, but at least you found a good item. Oh, Makar getting caught up on the spike. It's okay, he got out of that pretty quick though. Done for Alex, while Tanjo is taking Makar to unlock this room. Eyes are going to be on Alex here. What will his next move be? Will he choose to clear out the rest of the overworld before going Wind Temple? And if so, when does he go to Ghost Ship? Or will he opt to feel behind and go to Wind Temple as his next play? Two Makars on screen in different dungeons. Yes, indeed. Alright, looks like this is nothing, so Tanjo is not going to take the time to knock it down. He is going to take this route to go backwards. Probably going to open the fan, followed by open the warp pot. Yeet. We'll also take the time to start the fan with Makar. That is a dead chest on the middle of hub room. We are slowly starting to run out of checks here. And that is Wind God's Aria being picked up. Alex showing a little love for our little meme item today. That is a small key right here for Tanjo. The other one is in 7 Armos, so Tanjo knows that he can skip it so long as he opts to change up his route a little bit. Interesting that he's doing the top and bottom areas first. Now, Tanjo does have the warp pot in the middle area open, so he will be able to just save warp wherever he goes to get back to the center area. So, and that is our big key up there, so he will probably opt to take the time to go grab that. And if I were to take a guess, Tanjo is probably going to do the mini-boss here and then save warp out of it, and then do the mini-cyclones middle of hub. Not middle of hub, sorry. Left out go big key route. And he will probably leaf out of bounds to get into the mini-boss. Although if he wanted to, he could have save-scummed the key. But that could have been a risk if this ends up actually being the shard, because then you can potentially just skip not having to do 7 Armos at all. So I think this is a fine play. Alright, we see Alex coming down here to 5-star. I don't know if Ghost Ship is here, but it is a place that it can be. Yep, ghost ship is here. All right. Everyone clench up a little bit. Let's see what we find. I'm going to pull out the telescope. It is a dead chest. Tanjo is safe. It is somewhere here in Wind Temple. That being said, it's not here in the mini-boss. So... Oh, and look at this. Alex opting to not check any more overworld. Just going to opt to go straight to Wind Temple. This is the right play. However, I do think that Tanjo just has enough of a lead at this point that I would safely say that this is probably his race. And the more you think on it for Alex's side, this actually makes a lot of sense, because there's not a lot of leaf platforms that he can check. The only one I can think of is the one by Thorn Fairy. Tanjo will not need Wind God Zarya to complete the dungeon. That being said, we are running out of places for this shard to be. There are only 3 checks left. Either left alcove, the boss key chest, or the tall basement room. Yeah, you will see here that Wind God Zarya is basically useless. Well, maybe not, because this is our spike chest, and that is our last shard. So, Tanjo did end up taking a little more time than he needed to. Alex will end up finding that a lot sooner. But yeah, for that, you could store that chest to get into the boss key room, skipping the Songstone entirely. And then, as you will see from Tanjo here, the other Songstone can just be skipped just by sidling behind it, which is very funny. But yeah, this is one of those seeds where you could not skip Earth God's lyric, but for the most part, we skip both Songstones for Earth Gods as well. But in order to skip both of them, you do need the Deku Leaf, and since the leaf was behind it, this was one of those seeds. And technically, if you didn't have Leaf, you could not skip the first Wind God's Songstone as well. However, you also just need the Leaf logically to get there, so that never comes up. Unless you are attempting to do Leafless Wind Temple. Alright, so here we will see Tanjo sidling behind the Songstone. Oh yeah, duh. You could skip the first Songstone without Leaf. It would just be a little bit monk-ass, I guess. Oh wait, no you can't, because you can't even get there in the first place. Yeah, no. That's the problem. I suppose you could get there. It would just be very stupid. You would have to hookshot up onto the statue that Alex just did in such a way that you land on top of it, which is possible, it's just very precise. And then do a very precise side hop to get up to where Alex is at right now, and then go backwards through Mini Cyclone Room and climb up the buckets. But that is a long slew of very precise things that just is not that fun. Also, I just now realized I forgot to say this, but get your cat jams in chat because we are fighting Mulgara, even if we are on the last little bit of the fight. That is the one problem with using the commentary, because I am not listening to either of their audio. Unfortunately, Tanjo missing the last air sequence, you're going to have to wait a little bit, taking out some frustration on the little Mulgara babies. And hookshot not letting us cooperate there. There we go. But as I said, Alex is going to get to save a lot of time here. Because he sees this, and he knows, basically at this point, there are no more bait items. There is one bottle left. And if that is a bottle, Alex is just going to be mad. So he's just going to opt to store this and take it with him, which is the correct play. Oh no, he's going to take this into... Oh, interesting. I figured he might have figured out that it was a key and he was going to use that. But no, he's going to use this to skip the first Songstone. So we get to see the Songstone skip. Although, he's in kind of a Monka W position here. Has to get himself... Okay, there we go. He made it to the door. But he is going to void out here and see that he has the shard. He's like... can you blame him at this point? There have been so many bait items in this seed. But he sees he only has one shard left, so... But meanwhile, Tanjo done with Mulgara, in complete go mode, gonna start making his way to Hyrule. He is done with this seed. It is just a matter of beating all of Hyrule and the game. Couple things about this seed that we're gonna have to yeah, they don't have all 5 Tingle statues because we gotta sometimes hint that Ankle was dead and that Jabun Cave had our 5th Tingle statue, so neither of them went out of their way to get it. And I know that the tracker says Tanjo only has 3, but on his personal tracker, he has 4 marked down. So, I'm pretty sure he does have all 4. Oh, that's true. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about it. Alex did not have a small key, so he was probably checking big key chests to make sure he could get a small key. But so now, with this, he'll be able to store this upcoming chest. He might even just clear this to see if he can get the big key. Yeah, that looks like what he's going to do. Oh wait, did we get a hint about this being the big key? I feel like no, we got a hint about 7 Armos being a small key. So I think at this point he just knows that this has to be the big key in some form. Well, no, it could be on Mini Boss. He might just be making the risk that it's in here. But unfortunately, he did not make it out, so he is going to have to get caught by the Floor Master here. I'd assume that Alex knows the boss key skip. I'm not sure, though. That's something definitely to ask him later. fair point, Koala. Because if you do know the boss key skip, what you call it, storing the middle hub chest would probably be the best way to do it. What is Alex looking for here? Oh, maybe he was just opening that to get the spikes down, because you don't have to. Alex is making his way to Mulgara, while Tanjo has already made it to PG1. So, and we get a good first shot. I don't remember him getting the very first shot. Yeah, no, but he does get a very clean second shot. That's very nice. And a good third shot. Very good PG by Tanjo. Yep, single magic. We started with sword today. We get souped, so double magic doesn't matter that much. Those Morths just not wanting to let go of Alex, my goodness. But okay, we are hoping for the double crip here from Tanjo. Not today, though. Unfortunately. Making sure he doesn't get hit by the bats, though, so that it has a much higher chance of dropping magic, which they do. And we're just going to hope for the single crit here. There we go. Much better. Easy peasy. So now we just have the third phase. Misses the first shot, unfortunately, and also pulls out the bomb in time. That was very quick reaction time from Tanjo. So just going to do bomb strats from here on out, in a sense. You've already lost your soup buff, may as well. There we go. Whoa, okay, PG. Thank you, appreciate it. Get out of there, please. Alright, I'm getting a bit of synchronizing. Ooh, that was a nice bomb toss that I got to see on my side, though. And that is a PG done for Tanjo. Very well done. Alright, rolling on up. And we're about to see rope climb mashing. Looking pretty good so far by Tanjo here. Making his way up. And wow! That was an insane rope climb. Holy crap. One of the cleanest I've seen. Unfortunately, no pog slide this time, but that rope climb more than makes up for it. And we have Alex finishing up Mulgara, while Tanjo is moving on to finish up Ganon. Will not be long. Alright, Zelda getting slapped to the side. Tanjo making an absolute quick work of this Ganon fight. time for the final shot. Will Zelda aim correctly? She will! And a very, very clean Ganon fight by Tango. GG's. A time of 2:11:29. Very clean fight. And honestly, just a very clean showing from Tango in general. The one and only thing that might have changed it up a little bit and gotten even lower time was not leaving the left alcove for as long as he did. But I didn't see if that was because he got knocked down or knocked around or not. Is that our boy?
Hello.
Hello, Tanja. GG's to you.
Thank you. GG.
So, couple things that I took note of throughout this seed. When did you piece together that Leaf had to be an Earth Temple?
Basically, as soon as I realized it was the bow path to Goma. Like I checked all the bow lock stuff quickly, like the platforms that were locked behind, like needed a bow. I didn't find anything for Goma. And I already found Grapple in Mesa's house. So as soon as I found Grapple, I was like, I'm gonna go to DRC. And lo and behold, you're key locked, so you need to go down there. So I was like, okay, it's probably bow for Fire and Ice to get down there. And so I knew Leaf had to be behind Fire and Ice. So when I found the Fire and Ice in DRC, like the logical lights, I knew my Fire and Ice had to be out there somewhere in logic. And I just kind of rushed all the Fire and Ice checks, which is what kind of led me towards going into Earth Temple without clearing like Overworld fully, because I figured Leaf had to be in there, and it was in like the worst spot probably. But
yeah, seriously, leave it to a Tuba Seed to do exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do we also want to ask him about where the warp pots in DRC are?
Yeah, I was in pot room. I was like, oh no, I forgot to open up the warp pod up there. It's like I'm just gonna put open up the midway warp pot.
Once we saw you open that one, we knew that you would realize at least, so it wasn't as painful as it could have been.
Yeah. I realized late, but not too late, I guess.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. I've done that before, so yeah, Ghost Ship. I don't know where that was.
So we were kind of scared that the shard was going to be there because you actually missed it.
Oh fuck!
It was on top of Headstone.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was a chart. I guess I kind of forgot that it could have been Ghost Ship chart. Damn, I kind of lucked out there.
Yeah, we were definitely like whenever, because Alex didn't check it until after Forbidden Woods, so we were just sitting there like, oh boy, you just have to hope and pray that the last shard is not there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty sloppy. I think I played pretty sloppy today. There were a lot of really unclean movement and stuff.
The one other thing I had a question about was Wind Temple. I kind of missed it. Did you get knocked down by a P-hat, or did you choose to do the top and bottom before Cyclones?
I chose to do the bottom first, just because I was missing one shard from Go. I was like, I thought maybe it'd be faster to just go down there and check the spike room or something.
Gotcha.
I knew where a small key was. I knew there was one in Armos. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do all this in the center first, and there wasn't a shard there, unfortunately. But,
yeah, it did end up allowing Alex to catch up a little bit. Then Alex kind of did some things in Wind Temple. I don't know if he doesn't know the storage strats. He ended up going all the way. Yeah, he ended up going out of his way to get the big key. So
okay, I see.
You both ended up basically doing the same exact amount, except you also did the mini boss.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of other things. What are your thoughts on the lookout platforms?
Um, they can be interesting, I think. I really do think lookout platforms can be interesting. Sometimes they're quite boring, but I think with CTMC they're a little less
I agree with that.
boring. Like for example, the Sudden Fairy lookouts. You just defeat the with a boomerang. You just defeat them from below, and you can just see without having to leaf over.
Mhm.
So they're kind of like Iris in that sense, where they're made better with CTMC.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they're okay.
Speaking of okay, that was a pretty okay PG one from Alex's side. I'd say that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Takeaway master right here.
My PG3, that last one, I hit with a
Yeah,
bomb and it like 360 spun into the wall. I was like, okay, you're trolling me.
I remember it did the exact same thing to me in my race versus Linkus, and I got real mad.
Yeah. That was surprising.
Mhm.
Something about lookup platforms, I feel like if you find a hookshot early, it's quite a bit of time saved being able to hookshot up.
For sure.
I find.
Hookshot becomes a very good movement tech. All
Yeah.
those ladders.
It's interesting though. I think any settings that add like not just like something that's opened by the same item, but like a variety of different things. Like, you know, you might need boomerang for a lookout, you might need leaf for a lookout, might need bow for a lookout, stuff like that. I think those can always be interesting. Just
I
that there are a
agree.
lot of lookouts.
That is the one issue I
yeah.
have with it as well. So we got a second place finish, Butterlord, with a time of 2:18:02. GG's to
GG's.
Butterlord.
Yeah, Butterlord pretty good. Gotta look out
Butterlord is
for
not up
Butterlord
there.
in season 5.
I mean, both him and Armageddon, I think, are people to look out for. If you looked at their spoiler log time for the 5th async, they're doing some good things. They're definitely a force to be looking out for come season 5. What else was there? I'm trying to think.
My ET Mirrors room was pretty clean. I was pretty happy with that. It's been a while.
That was very good. And that was something that unfortunately gave Alex a little trouble. I think he had to look up how to do half room strats.
Oh, really? Dang. Yeah.
He had to stand there for a little bit. So
Yeah. It's pretty rare that you end up having to do that.
I will say, I had basically, being the person commentating and watching two people run at the same time. Alex did find the other bow in Bird's Peak before you did. And about the time that I realized that, it was grapple to Mesa, so that it had to be something else that was path to Goma. That made me kind of realize, oh, Leaf has to be an Earth Temple because we've seen all of the other Fire Ice checks at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one interesting thing that came out of the path hints, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really cool kind of deduction you can make. Yeah. I was like, I had hoped to find lights for Earth Temple, but like I wasn't gonna, because the checks I had left were like, I really wish I had Leaf for them to just really clean out those islands. So as soon as I found Mirror, I was like, okay, that's good enough.
Yeah,
I could have
sure.
pushed for lights though, but it's fine.
I kind of understand your reasoning behind it, though. GG's to Alex. I'm at 2:21:08. But I know that you probably didn't want to push the bomb island, and go until you had that leaf for Thorned.
Yeah.
So I can understand that logic pretty well.
Yeah. Like maybe I should have gone after Cliff Plateau to Bird's Peak, like a normal route, but whatever.
It happens.
Yeah, it was weird. I wasn't really sure how to route. Like I also like didn't really pay attention to my hints, like what was path to what. I just knew what islands were path. So my routing in the early was a little broken, I guess.
Yo.
All right, and GG's to Alex. Welcome on in.
Yep.
GG's.
GG's. Tuba, come on, man. This is like
I'm
the fifth
sorry.
awful seed. This is such a bad seed. Or that leaf placement, at least.
To be fair, I was about to run it with you guys, but then I didn't, so I am the winner here.
You really are. Ugh. I knew that Fire and Ice had to lock leaf, and I was hoping it wasn't Needle Rock Cave, because I had orphaned that check a while ago. And so I went through all of Earth Temple, hoping that, because I knew the Fire and Ice locked the keys. And so I actually had to look up how to do half room strats mid while I was down there. So I paused for like a good 30 seconds to watch the video. So at least I learned a strat.
It's true. It's a good strat to learn.
It is.
That's what I used to always do in Earth Temple basement when I was scared of roll clips. For the longest time.
We'll have to watch back what Tanjo does though, because it is a faster setup. It is also a lot harder.
All right. I guess I will watch that later then.
Yeah, it's a pretty annoying trick.
Other than that though, Alex,
Mm-hmm.
trying to think here. You had a really interesting start.
Yeah.
You opted to store the mother and child chest and then make your way to the Star Island before anything else.
Yeah, I saw that we didn't have FF because I didn't see a path hint for it. So that Star Island chest is kind of really far out of the way. It's either a warp or a sail from Windfall. So I was like, I might as well store this chest and just go to it because it's just so far out of the way.
For sure. I thought that was interesting. It was a cool way to route that in early.
Would have been a lot faster if I didn't fail the storage for a good 2 minutes or so. But what can you do?
It happens. There were several times for both of you that storage just did not want to happen. I know that Plateau bottom Tanjo some issues.
Yeah. Do be like that.
Yeah, that's just how storage be sometimes.
Yep.
Trying to... Alex, you never went back to Horseshoe, right?
Yeah, I never went back after trying and failing the Leafless Horseshoe. I was like, whatever, I'll orphan this check off. So I did, and it got lucky that it wasn't anything useful.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a very fair call, because she was also just slow to do even with Leaf. So I support you all the way there.
Yep.
So, I know a question I should ask both of you. So how about those bottles and wallets, the seed?
Oh, did we find a fourth one? I got 3.
I wasn't sure if like it was on like the keep duplicates and logic, because I thought it was bugged.
Yeah, the answer is no, it was not on. We just got that many bottles and wallets.
Wow,
to see.
that's wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Let's see. That path hint logic for the leaf was really interesting. I think that was a pretty big win for path hints today.
Yeah, for sure.
Also a big loss for us because it was in our temple. But at least that was cool.
Yeah.
Alex, I also want to hear your thoughts on the lookout platforms, because I asked Tanjo a little bit about his thoughts.
I think I like them. I think I would like to split them up like we talked about before. I discovered impromptu a way to like peek 2-eye reef with the telescope, Cliff Plateau Isles with the telescope, because they're 2 lower down platforms, so you can kind of just use a telescope to peek the horizon, and the little top of the chest will stick over the little bars if it's spiky. Otherwise, it won't. So I kind of found that was cool.
Mhm.
The rafts are pretty easy to get with the quick to get with the telescope as well. I don't think I peeked them because I was just going to go down to destroy the cannons at 5i anyways. I think they provide some interesting choices for sure.
Right. Well, that should be all of my questions. Do either of you two have anything you want to say before I hand it on over?
No, Alex said GG's, Alex.
GG's. I maybe wish I had gotten that hook shot a bit earlier. Just sitting there in Islet of Steel. I was like, I don't want to go there into Islet and then have it be the thing on the lookout platform that I need a bow for. So I'll put it off, and then I put it off for so long that I did the majority of the platforms already by that point. So.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you were right. The platform was also passed to Mulgara.
Yep. Goalhammer? Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was technically a double pass.
Yep.
Other than that, Wind Waker Season 5 coming up fairly soon. We're still in the testing phases, still trying to get everything figured out. I think this was a great success of a race to do so. A lot of great things happening with both the builds and our runners. Super excited to see what comes in the future. With that, I'm ready to hand it on over to Cubs.
GG, both of you. Well done. If you aren't following both runners for some reason, please give them both a follow, Alex and Tanjo. Tracking today, doing most of the work so I could just sit here and do nothing. Celeste, hero of the stream, as well as some guy that, I don't know, he was late to the start of the stream. I don't know what happened. But Tuba carrying the restream on his own throughout the whole. Thank you very much. We are going to head on over to the main channel right now. We have a Skyward Sword Rando co-op tourney race in progress. Keep an eye out on the schedule. There are many things coming up in this next week. Tomorrow morning, a very rare morning race Eastern time, 8 a.m. Eastern. We're going to have a Ocarina of Time Random Settings League race over on the main channel. So if you need something to just kind of have on the background for most of the day, there's a very good shot of that. Just see the 6-hour race that happened yesterday. Oh, dear God. So please check out the schedule. Again, for the moment, we're going to head over to the main channel, so give Skyward Sword some love. Any final thoughts before we head on out today?
Thank you for the restream. That was great to have Wind Waker featured.
Yep, I appreciate it.
All right. Till next time, everybody stay safe out there. We will see you back here soon. Have a good night.
Bye.
The